So what you're saying, there's a lack of unity amongst the people that should be unifying to get rid of or or take on the sitting government. There's a lack of unity in that in their camp.
Definitely, there's a lack of unity there, and what I'm looking for. Okay, so to speak, there can be a lack of unity in any organization. There can be a lack of unity in any party. But what I'm looking for when that kind of a thing arises, because I believe in any point in time, leadership do go on those kind of under those kind of attack. What I want to see is strong leadership presence. I want to see the ability
To rise above.
impromptu. You put things in place and you move past that. I haven't seen that as yet. I haven't seen that as yet. That's an issue for me.
Big issue. Very, very big issue.
That's a huge issue for me. That's a huge issue for me. We have some people that say, "Hey, Fluffy, what's up?"
You good? How was your day? Miss Abraham, how you doing? You know, I I I feel that on both ends of this thing, man. That's my whole thing. I gotta keep saying I gotta sing this till I can't say no more. On both ends of this, there was a lack of leadership, a lack
Yeah.
of proper leadership and accountability and accepting the fact that we made a big mistake, a blunder.
Mm-hmm.
A blunder was made, and we need to hold them accountable.
But who I'm gonna be holding accountable? Who will take the fall?
And apparently, nobody's taking the fault, nobody's claiming fault. But I'm saying we have to hold both sides accountable. Both sides could have expressed restraint in dealing with the situation that came up at hand. Both sides.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Both sides. Despite people and in the way they reacted, the police force didn't have to react the way they did. And let me go make my black shirt to come.
Yeah. Definitely,
My
man.
black shirt, man. Oh,
Because that's
forward to the people.
that is a serious issue. I believe you me. That's a serious issue where there's nobody taking accountability. You know, we have to look at things on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
The let's look at the protesters let's look at the protesters. Who do we hold accountable? Who can we hold accountable? In your
Well,
opinion?
who were the organizers for the protest? That's who you hold
Nice.
accountable.
Nice. I believe they were lacking, or they were found wanting when there wasn't somebody to regulate the protest. A peaceful process must have somebody to regulate it, to
To
oversee it.
regulate it. Mm-hmm.
In light of that, even if there wasn't a regulator, I believe leaders could show leadership and regulate that day. Understand me?
Yes.
The protesters went wrong when they firstly took defense from the police officers.
Yes.
They took
Yes.
defense from the police officers. That
You have
would
that
have
clip?
been. I do have it on. I didn't upload it, but I do have it somewhere on the computer. They took defense. They literally took defense from the police officers, and the police officers did not know what to do.
No.
They did not know how to react.
I wish you had
Right?
that clip you could play, boy, so we could show the people and them that
Yeah. And in the videos that Kado Media was able to get the live footage of those events, you're right there. You could see the police officers shrugging his shoulders, asking what next. Understand me? That is when the riot squad showed themselves. They didn't came right up front, but they showed themselves there. No, that should have okay, fine. You took a first fence. It's okay. The officers didn't start to be aggressive as yet, but the people were very fed up, and you can understand that for many other reasons. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
nobody told the crowd. Nobody told the crowd. Okay, guys, we are having a peaceful protest. Reminded them
Yeah,
the
it's a peaceful
purpose.
protest.
You understand
Yeah.
me? Nobody, and you have to understand that when people are protesting, whether it's peaceful protest or violent protest, you always have to remind the crowd why we gathering, because
Why
people
we
will be
here?
very emotional. Second issue I have, Mr. Fountain was there. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if it's just me, I was expecting Mr. Fountain to address the crowd.
Okay.
Whether he just remind the crowd, we are there for Dominica and we're there for free and fair elections, I did not see that from him. That's an issue for me too, because that would have been strong leadership presence there. Maybe he didn't have to, but for me, that was an issue for me. And then the persons in the Electoral Reform Committee, I don't think I heard any of them took the forefront and address the crowd either.
No.
So I have an issue with that as well.
And you did several interviews with different people in the crowd, and did you speak to any one of the leaders on either side?
I spoke with one of the members of the Electoral Reform Committee. I think I'm Mr. Randy Rodney. I spoke with him. I interviewed him, but I didn't think I interviewed anybody on the UWP team. I don't think so. I didn't get that opportunity too. Okay. Yeah. So on those merits, on those counts, I say, okay, the protesters were wrong in that sense. We're holding people accountable tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
The president of the United Workers' Party made a statement and said that the protest was a failed protest. Do you share same sentiments?
And I'll tell you why. Yes, and I'll tell you why. The protest obviously is a failed protest because you can't have people standing up for something and the representative in the parliament or the House of Assembly voted against it. That defeated the purpose in and of itself.
Okay.
That literally defeated the process in and of itself. So yes, he was right to say that it was a failed protest, but he should have said why it was a failed protest.
Okay.
He should have said that. I do share that sentiment.
Go ahead.
Hold
on. Let me see if I have the clip here so I can play it for the people and them to hear. I getting it there together there.
The recent criticism of Senator Delbert Paris for voting in favor of the Registration of Electors Bill, after highlighting its deficiencies, is unjustified and represents a fundamental misunderstanding of the role of a responsible legislator. While he could have abstained from casting a vote, given the thousands who were protesting passage of the electoral reform bills, Senator Paris demonstrated integrity, independent thought, and a commitment to constructive parliamentary governance. By outlining the bill's shortcomings and proposing solutions in his debate contribution, Senator Paris ensured that the deficiencies were placed on the record as a basis for future amendment. At the same time, by voting in favor, he acknowledged that despite its imperfections, the bill contained provisions beneficial to the nation, provisions that patriots fighting for free and fair elections have relentlessly championed.
I want to address, let me just address Leonard Mark right there and then, because I want to hit comments as they're coming. Yes, I would say yes, because the electoral reform bill was not made public or was not made or presented to the guys in the House of Assembly. It was in the public domain for more than 2-3 months. So you had enough time to go through what was being proposed. You knew what you would have chosen, and you still want people to come and protest against it when you would have chosen for it. No, that caused it to be a failed protest in and of itself.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look at it so.
A failed protest because the people's voices were heard and the world saw the evil this government did to its people.
And you could think of it in that aspect, but I think of it as very, very risky. So you allow the people to come and risk their lives against something, and the representative, in the House of Assembly is voting for it. Now, you have to think a bigger picture than that.
Mm-hmm.
You have to think bigger picture than that.
Let me continue, and these are not our words, but we say that the protest was a failed protest. You're gonna hear it in the speech that the president of the
president is saying. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Saying. So we're gonna play it still. Hold on.
Senator Paris did not betray the United Workers' Party.
Senator Paris did not betray the United Workers' Party. That's the sentiment by the president of the United Workers' Party.
In dealing with the electoral reform bills were not intended to disrespect protesters for electoral reform. But
How does he know that it was not his intent to disrespect protesters? How does he know that? That's a question. How did he know that it was not his intent to disrespect protesters? Let's continue.
by letter dated January 13, 2025, from political leader Dr. Thompson Fontaine, the United Workers' Party requested a meeting with Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit. The letter stated, quote, "The proposed new and revised election laws do not adequately address the critical matter of removing the taints on the electoral process to clear the way for free and fair elections in Dominica," end of quote. 8 concerns were outlined across the 3 bills introduced to Parliament in December of 2024. We had the House of Assembly Elections Bill. There were 4 concerns: election campaign financing, election offenses, bribery and treating, abuse of state resources for ruling party campaigns, and access to all media. The presentations of Senator Paris on all these areas were the most comprehensive and far-reaching in the entire debate, but he did not vote on this bill. We had the Electoral Commission bill. The concerns there were about broadening the composition of the Electoral Commission and raising the prescribed age for leaving the office of Chief Elections Officer from 55 to 65. There was no debate on this bill. Senator Paris did not vote on this bill. And then we had the Registration of Electors Act. The concerns there in that letter to the Prime Minister from the political leader of the United Workers' Party, 13th of January, 2025, is 1, a clean, accurate voters list, where we made the point that in order to have a clean, accurate list of voters who are eligible based on the constitutional requirements of citizenship, age, and residency, there must be total re-registration of voters and provisions for cleansing of the voters list annually. We expressed the concern as well that the bill allows for citizens living overseas who are not ordinarily resident in Dominica to choose representatives in the Parliament of Dominica for constituencies where they do not live and therefore cannot be represented. There was also the question of voter identification cards, and the letter acknowledged that the new Registration of Electors bill provides for ID cards to be used for voting with voter registration number and facial recognition as the only biometric. And we expressed the view that to ensure certainty of identity in all respects, the biometric of fingerprints must be used for voter registration and voting. The January 13th, 2025 request for meeting with the Prime Minister to discuss these areas of concern and make appropriate improvement recommendations was denied. Nonetheless, the UWP submission was reviewed by the Special Parliamentary Committee on Electoral Reform Proposals and UWP conscience on a single Parliament of Dominica, only those who are genuinely resident in Dominica eligible to vote, thereby strengthening electoral integrity. These significant recommendations for improvement from Senator Paris were ignored. His vote of conscience on a single bill cannot be justifiably used as a scapegoat for unmanaged, unmet expectations of the protest organizers and protesters. If the objective of the protest was to prevent passage of the bills, then that could not realistically be a matter for members of Parliament. That was entirely about the people and the numbers in which they were mobilized to assemble. Many stayed at home while the freedom fighters were fighting, and so it seems we lost the battle to stop bills whose passage was guaranteed by government's overwhelming parliamentary majority. We lost the battle we could have won, and that is on us. So we fight on. Unlike Roosevelt Skerrit, Senator Paris did not boycott the meeting of Parliament. He did not run. He did not hide. He showed up to do the people's work without fear or favor, affection or ill will. He had no agreement with the UWP, the ERC, or any other.
He had no agreement with the UWP. You're listening to those words, right?
We're listening,
All right.
we're listening, we're listening.
Any other organization or individual to vote against the dictates of his conscience. The condemnation and vilification of Senator Paris for his exercise of judgment misplaced and counterproductive. Many of the critics, especially from his own party, have not read the bills. They have no idea what reform provisions he voted for, and therefore absolutely no appreciation for the value of his legislative contribution to electoral reform. We need to rise above irrational partisan outrage and recognize that the true measure of parliamentarians is how effectively they contribute to shaping laws that serve the people. In that regard, Senator Paris has proven he is not a politician of convenience. He's a leader of principle.
All right. So let me tell you something. This is the biggest issue I have. Is that Senator Paris would have known where he was going to vote, what he was going to do regarding this bill. You tell me Senator Paris and Mr. Fountain did not discuss those things. You tell me Mr. Fountain did not read those things and see what was workable and what wasn't workable. This is the biggest issue I have because it shows a lack of connection. It shows a big disconnect where a leader and a deputy leader is concerned. So what is happening behind the scenes now?
Where is the apology to the Dominican people who came out and protested? And then you think more people will come and protest if all you can even fix all your own house and make it look like a sensible place?
Listen to me. There was, if the protest would have been, no, listen to me, the protest could have been for anything else. The protest could have been for anything else except for electoral reform when they know they would have voted in favor of the electoral reform. Because why? Is a man of principle, is a man of policy. You're telling me that the electoral reform has good principle and policies and you're not mentioning that to the people?
Make it sound good. Make it sound good. Yeah, exactly what it is.
That's
to make it sound
nonsense,
good.
brother. That's nonsense. But all you have to do is just allow the protest. The peaceful protest could have been for any other issue or one of the many issues we have in Dominica. Just know that electoral reform, because right now you're allowing the people to come and risk. No, people understand. People understood because there was stuff circulating around about RSS. People understood that peaceful protest could have cost them their life.
Right. Yes.
They made that decision to take a stand no matter what against that electoral reform that was voted in favor. They voted in favor of it. And then the president said that kind of nice thing he gave of Mr. Paris, which I don't give him wrong. I just don't like the disconnect. The way they went about doing this thing was not right, and that cannot be overlooked. That cannot be overlooked because the thing is, we're not looking for a leadership that's going to crumble.
Nope.
We need to see strong leadership presence.
Leadership.
People who's going to come in and say they can make a change. Who is that can't pass with me. You understand me? That cannot pass with me, and I'm not going to go soft on those things. Leadership, and you know the amount of work. Let's say the next election call UWP win. You know the amount of work they're going to have to do to unfix the amount of corruption that is there. But we know that. I can tell you.
The corruption not only on the outside, the corruption on the inside. The corruption on the inside.
You know the amount of work they're gonna have to do. You know the amount of work they're gonna have to do to undo. So I can even say the first 10 years is a rebuffer. First 10 years is a reset. I don't want you to come there and it's a heavy work, it's serious work for you to fumble and make it worse for us, because us are gonna suffer. These people are suffering,
Yeah, of course. The people are in distress. The people are hungry. They can't buy food.
No man. And we cannot go into this thing. We cannot go into this thing, this election, only seeing colors. We cannot go into this election only seeing color. This is what that have us in the situation that we are in now. This color we alone
colorblind.
was seeing. We cannot go into this election only seeing colors, or else we finish. We finish. You have to look at policies. You have to look at principles. You have to look at strong leadership presence. You have to look at those things.
Yes, sir.
And first and foremost, you're showing me is that big disconnect with Mr. You do not know the craziest part. The president of the party and the leader of the party is in the protest. The deputy leader vote against the protest.
Just like how Scared cover up all his bullshit, they're doing the same, just using a different strategy. And exactly right. Because it's showing me that if you are getting power, you're going to do the same thing that is going on right now in power. The people want a change. We want to show some difference in leadership. They don't want people are going to cover up their faults. They don't want people are going to cover up their stuff. They want people to take accountability. Show, well, yes, we messed up and we're looking to remedy the problem.
Lovely. I'd have been so pleased to hear a leader say that. Or say that come from Mr. Fountain. We messed up. But
We
then
messed up.
I heard that. Well, I heard in the interview with the media people, he did say that Mr. Price made a mistake. He did say Mr. Price made a mistake. And to know how comes you giving the outside world that kind of a talk or that kind of a speech, and nothing for Dominic, and you're representing
Nothing
us,
for
and you're asking us to put you in the seat.
And then now look at this too. Look at this too. We're hearing of so many people getting arrested right now for this said protest. So many people are being arrested right
But
now.
they
I think
give.
about 13
Listen
of
to
them.
me. Listen to me. The blindsidedness of that act, because I'm certain and sure that weeks before that meeting in Parliament, the young man knew exactly where he would have voted and why he would have voted there. With all the revisions he made and requests he made, the 8 on total, he knew exactly weeks before. Now he gave the other party ammunition against the protesters.
Of course.
You totally you because of that vote, brother man. If you're still there, Mr. Mac, because of that vote, they defeated the purpose of the protest.
100%.
Like it or not, that's what it is.
100%. They defeated the protest. They made the people turn against them. Those people who was on the fence line saying, well, yeah, let me give them a chance. They're no longer on that fence. Because why? They raggedy, the fence shaking.
No, I just don't understand. Yes, the protest went from Roseau to Bowie, and Mr. Fountain run with the protest, or run with that scene, run with that hype up. But that is all the gaps and all the characteristics of a journalist. That is not the characteristics of a political leader.
20 strong in the building. What are you saying?
Literally, I'm telling you, Carlos, this is not the characteristic of a political leader.
Nope.
Yes, one of your members. Well, yes, one of your members is on the attack. Yes, a community is making a statement. But what is your message to the people doing all of that? What is your message?
The people are speaking a message. The people are needing answers. Somebody needs to take some accountability for this. And nobody is. But let me say this, should that bill have even been presented in Parliament? The reason I'm asking that is because the Prime Minister was not present for the reading of the bill. Is there a loophole in which he could not be present, or is that he's just a normal member of the leader of the sitting government was not in Parliament for the reading of the bill? Should that bill have even been read? That's a question to the listeners who might know better in governance than I do. Should that bill have even been brought to Parliament due to the fact that the Prime Minister was out of state?
I don't know, man. I still that let me tell you, I know you're asking that to the people that might know, but I still feeling bad by what happened on. Yeah, I'm telling you. I was there. I interviewed the people. I heard what the people were saying. Everybody I interviewed spoke against electoral reform.
Play an interview then. Play one of them interview you
Do I
have.
have it? Let me see if I have it there, because this is just defeating the purpose.
Play one of them interview you have.
I
Let's hear
think
what the
I
people have.
have this
Today,
lady.
today, Dominicans have to come out and show the regime what we mean business. We say we want electoral reform. We come in peace, and in peace we wanted them to go. I'm calling all my colleagues for us to have peace today. But we're calling on the Prime Minister to come and hear our voice. He'll listen to what we are saying as Dominicans, concerned citizens, that we had enough of here. Now it's no election, no electoral reform. All right? Thank you.
You know, the people came out with a voice, and their voice was not heard. Yeah, what the lady said today is the day the people have to come out and show. Today is the day people have to come out and show.
Boy, I don't know. And that's not normal to me, not at all. I'm telling you straight. That can't be normal. It can't be normal.
Something need to give. Something need to give.
And on the obvious side of things, not on the obvious side of things, you know all the authorities operating. You understand me?
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna fall in the traps of the authorities. Come on, man. You know this guy's operating. This guy waiting for just one little inch
To take
and
a
they will
mile.
to take the mile. And they will take the mile, you know.
Yeah, of course.
They will
And
take
that-
the mile. I mean,
Richie,
come on,
in
man.
Parliament, people have voice. In Parliament, people have voice. It's true.
No, listen to me. You're right, you know. You're very right. You listen to me. You're very right. But my issue is, you would have known what your voice would be in Parliament from 2 weeks, 3 weeks before. Why are all the people to come out and protest against some electoral reforms?
People would now come out because they know, well, you're going to vote for it.
Explain to the people your point of view. Don't
Yeah.
make people pass like fools.
All right.
Now, if you look at this statement the Prime Minister made after the results,
He
doesn't
laughed
make any
in them.
sense.
He laughed them.
Doesn't make any sense.
He laughed them. Despite them knowing that the bill would have passed, despite them knowing the bill would have passed, they knew that they would have gotten how many on the government
Yeah,
side.
the
to
majority
try.
would have had it anyways.
The opposition side, even if it's one vote they had for them and the rest was against, would have been a win, because why? The people would have said, well, we feel that all you're thinking about how we think it. We feel that way. But when you vote and you tell everybody, well, the ayes have it, the whole parliament say yes, that means what? You people outside there, so don't mean nothing to us inside of here.
Definitely.
We run things in here.
So
And that is that.
I just believe that they could have done things differently. I believe that they could have informed the people. I believe that they could have saved that day from the people, or redirected that protest to something else.
Yeah. Because
Definitely.
there's many other issues on the island that we can address. Many other issues. We have dust affecting the school children in the Wesley area, which is a very big health hazard for the community and for the children, especially. You know, this morning I was talking to one of the parents of a student up there, and the child, the parents are saying she's thinking about not sending her child back to school because
Of
why?
course.
The dust is affecting them. Can we find an alternative for the children? Can we send them to Woodford Hill so that we can allocate a new location for them to be feeling, for them not to be affected so much by the dust? Can we send them to NEC where we can get a bigger classroom for them not to be affected by the dust?
Definitely.
Can we find an alternative? Good night, Granny. How you doing?
Good night.
Can we find an alternative for them kids? We also have a road issue. We have a lot of issues. We have an industrial issue where the people are hungry and poor. Find a issue and target that issue, because apparently electoral reform is not the issue.
It passed back to that. You see, it came back to that. It came back to that.
It's not
It
an
came back
issue
to that.
because the entire parliament voted for it. The entire parliament said yes to it. So it's not the issue now. We have new issues. Let us look for another issue. Somebody championed the cause to help the children in Wesley. Somebody championed the cause to find out, can we get some transparency on the airport project? Somebody championed the cause to feed the people and them in the home for the aged. Somebody championed the cause to figure out why people not getting paid their salaries. Those are the issues now. Electoral reform has, we pass it, it's good to go.
It's good to
Next
go.
issue.
Apparently. Next issue. Exactly.
Next issue. Waste time
Exactly.
with people, man. I don't support it. Me, I don't. I when I tell you that thing that rub me the wrong way, rub me.
But man, I sat down, because we did the interview in the morning. We did the interview in the morning with Tony. And after the interview, I sat down and I look at all the interviews I did with the people on the floor. And I was just so taken aback. But I was like, wow.
That was heartbreaking. That was a heart. When Tony said it, yo, I didn't even believe Tony. I was like, Tony, you lie.
That's crazy.
You lie.
No, and my issue is not that, oh, they voted for the bill bad. If you guys notice that it was workable, say that.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make people come and waste their time.
Mm-hmm.
You understand me? That was not good. And we can't have a repeat of that.
And people attacking Tony for saying that he don't have no friends outside there and he voting for the bill. I mean, if the man feel like he don't have no friends outside there, who is me to say he have friends outside there? You know? That's the man choice. You get what I'm saying? I don't have no friends out there.
I would advise, well,
you would advise him to do
I
apologize
would
to?
advise it, not apologize. I don't know. But I went to when he was in parliament to choose his word very wisely, and because I don't know if I was, I don't think I would ever say that kind of thing. You don't want to say that kind of thing, all right? You don't want to say them kind of thing there. People protesting for something they believed that was against their elections. People protesting with the ideology of the electoral reform bill that was presented to the parliament was corrupt or inadequate.
Mm-hmm.
So they showed their numbers in support against it.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't say because there was a so that's basically how I see it. You understand me? And I see that the people were misinformed, and yeah.
Some form of miscommunication went on.
Yeah.
Some form of miscommunication. And our leaders and them need to answer to that. Our leaders and them need to answer.
Definitely. I would like them to I would like them to answer to that and to address people of Dominica.
Yeah.
And if you're wrong, say you was wrong. You could have done it differently.
Yeah.
Let's say you was wrong if you was wrong and done that.
Yeah. And is the statement given by the president of the party the official statement of the UWP? Is that statement the official statement of the UWP? Are we standing by this statement?
I don't know. Right now, I don't know. Right now, you see things there. I don't know. You see me, I don't know.
I want to say a prayer for our country. You know, our country need a little prayer. We need to rally around the development of our country, rally around a product that will help develop our country, because our country is genuinely gradually going down into the gutter. And if you want to take the leadership reins of our country, you have to show the people that you are ready for leadership. Because first thing a leader is supposed to be, he's supposed to accept accountability. He's supposed to be able to tell the people where he went wrong and what he's going to do to fix it.
I know.
A leader's supposed to be able to take accountability, say, yo, I messed up here, and this is the remedy and this is the solution I have to fix it. It don't
Thank you.
have nothing else. Fluffy had to tell you something tonight. Hi. Tell me something you want to discuss. You have something for me to discuss about. We're talking about they have how much people they arrested now? I think they arrested a couple more people today, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And every day they arrested.
The man defeated the purpose.
And the people are paying for it.
The man defeated the purpose. That's the whole point.
And the people are paying for it. I just saw a thing there, you know, with a couple people getting arrested. There was a list. I don't have the list no more. You have it?
No, I don't think I got the list now. I think I got this. I told.
When you see somebody trying to make this shit up based on the law of conduct.
Let me check.
Greed is based in fear. But yeah, you know,
Talk to me.
I Fluffy say put nothing else to discuss, and she
Fluffy, drop a topic, Fluffy, you can discuss it. Yeah?
because I wanted to discuss the fact that we have ineffective leaders in our country who want to take leadership reins of our country, and I don't think they're ready for that.
So what is
My
next?
opinion.
So what do we, in light of that, so what do we do?
For my next party,
My mother. So how much? Dominica, we have 21 parties.
yeah, man, we got 21 parties by first. I'm gonna form a party called the Dominican Republican Party. Make Dominica great again.
Great again. Oh my goodness.
Make Dominica great again. Because apparently we need to make Dominica great. The people suffering, man. The people of Dominica are suffering. They can't, you know, the other day a lady post up anything. There's something she was buying for $30-something. The price of her sardine gone to $12 or something like that. And it's like,
Dominica,
yeah, every day the price going up, but prices have gone up here in America. So it's not just Dominica; it's the world by extension. And Dominica
fine.
is
Okay, fine. Let's use that price as basis for this question now.
Mhm.
Say if a tin of sardine goes up to $12 and you get paid $7.50 an hour.
You can buy a tin of sardine for the hour.
Why you took I see in there?
Your hour with a work, you buy a tin of sardine.
So is the issue, but the issue lies with us is a series of things that is really and truly the issue in Dominica, because we get paid for $7.50 an hour. I believe that should have been raised by now. It took us 14 years to move from $5.50 to $7.50. 14 years. Now that we moved to $7.50, since 2021 we moved to $7.50. In 2025 we still can buy a tin of sardine for our work.
No.
So how are we supposed to live in Dominica effectively now?
How are we supposed to live?
How are we supposed to live in Dominica effectively?
As the people are there.
If the cost of living keep increasing, because it keeps increasing.
It keeps on going up every year. Cost of living goes up.
It keeps increasing. You can't stop that. They say you can't stop it. They say, and your salary not going up. Low wage not going up in Dominica apparently.
No.
Another 14 years. If you go down statistics, another 14 years for it to shift from $7.50 to $9.50, because it's $2. They add into $2 every $2 every 14. So $7 years, $1 and another $1 again, I guess. So then how are we going to raise awareness for that so then they can really change that? Because I think just in December the press conference, Prime Minister didn't want to even answer that simple question. And they want to raise the low wage.
So can the country survive like that?
But that is no Dominica is not the first country to have those characteristics. Those characteristics goes into where the democracy of the country will be compromised, and then you will have to turn into something else. Everybody have one. So everybody will have one. Everybody get a 1,500 for their month. Water bill will be on the government. Electricity utilities on the government. and groceries will be for everybody, no matter your class, or even if you're working hard or you don't working at all, you'll get 1,500 to buy your
But
groceries.
wouldn't that be like a government state then?
Thank you. Yeah, it will go into that. It would shift into that if we don't take a stand. Because apparently my boy Starboy is prepping up for until Christ come back. They will still no, they're not gonna leave office until Christ come back. They say so. That they say so. If we shaping up, and when we do shape up, is we putting the people under fire, then will they ever come out in power? Is the question we really ask. And how detriment is that to the Dominican people?
They're not
Because
coming out.
it's one thing I realize. It's one thing I realize with Dominican people. Dominican people will survive no matter what. And that is
You're
our
saying
biggest
that?
downfall. That's our biggest downfall. Dominican
You
people will
saying-
survive no matter what. And that is
You
our
say so?
biggest downfall. I'm telling you.
Because they put themselves in a survival mode kind of a thing.
Dominican people will survive no matter what. And they will never, that is our biggest downfall. Because it seems like as if they forget where the limit is. The blood, they say it's a blurry line for they can't take enough. That blurry line is so blurry we can't see it again. So
Yes.
we cross that line a long time, and that's the whole point. And then people will. It's a dangerous thing, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a dangerous thing.
Very dangerous thing. Because it's like you don't know when to stop taking punishment. You don't
I'm
know.
gonna show you something, yeah.
Mhm.
For maybe let's say since when the airport project started, since 2022,
When they call the election, yeah.
2022.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, 2022, 2024, 2025. So let's say 2 and some years. The people of Wesley have been undergoing, well, seeing the effects of a major construction,
Mm-hmm.
facing negative. It has impacted them negatively most part. Okay, what happened? They just adapted.
Yeah.
They
And they
just
were saying
adapted.
nothing.
They just adapted. They just adapted. In a democratic country, they just adapted to it. They just adapted to it. So then, how is that gonna cause any change where the people is concerned?
You don't gonna get no change. You don't gonna get no real change. You don't gonna get no real change at all because it's like everybody on their own mission.
That would make no sense.
Everybody on their own mission.
That would make
Wesley
no sense.
suffering, you know, and they're suffering in silence and they're afraid to speak. They're afraid to say anything. It's like nobody, they don't care about themselves. They don't care how they feel. All right, I get it. Hold on.
You get it? Go ahead.
No. I get some. Go ahead. Do something I trying to add there. Up.
Okay, you added something.
Yeah.
Basically, so then, how are we gonna effect change when the people is concerned, regardless of government changing or not? What measures are we willing to go? Understand me? Because I just believe that if the people no, we did have a protest and it was a mess. All right, it was a mess. So I don't even know what to say if the people come together.
Come together and do what?
Because we have some people to come together to voice concerns on serious issues that happen in the country. Because we've had people come together for the electoral reform and it was a mess. But we still have to understand that in a democratic country, you do have your right to gather, you do have your right to a peaceful protest, you do have the right to voice your concerns. We can't ignore those rights that we have for all democratic countries. All democratic countries have those rights and it's available to the people. So how are we going to get effective change? How are we going to get the government to focus on things that really matter to the people?
I don't know, my brother.
This is it. When I sit down and I reflect on things, that is what I want to see. I want to see Dominica progress.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see Dominica move to the next level.
Level.
But when things are being ignored, people are being victimized, okay, for just seeing things differently and as it is, how are you going to go forward? One man can make it work, you know. It takes a collective effort. But you think the people are ready for that change?
Look, this is an Antigua newsroom. The police in Dominica continue to arrest anyone vocally opposed to the ruling administration.
But they have right to say they have right to say anything. They have right to say anything right now.
This is Antigua newsroom, you know. So our thing is regional and international now. You know?
Yeah, it's just, boy, we just see that right now. I don't know. I don't know.
Did you see the interview Emo did with the guy in
I don't see. No, I see a clipping of it. I see a clipping
in Salisbury where he said that he got shot by the one of the tear gas canisters, and he said he was not involved in the protest whatsoever.
Yeah.
He was just a bystander.
Yeah.
So is there something going on with that?
Boy, that also show. That goes to show. That goes to show, boy. That goes to show. This is how they see us, whether we are in the protest or not. They will include you because maybe in the same place with them. I find that is very, very careless and wicked on the authority side. If the man wasn't a part of the protest, and they decided somebody gonna get the falls, somebody gonna get their rage, and then at the end of the day, is the police officer that shot him gonna reveal himself?
No.
Okay.
No, but the man, their mask and the camouflage, you think they're gonna show themselves or show their face?
They're not gonna show their face. So when the people are being agitated to that level, what must happen next?
Well, they got to sit down and drink water and mind their business.
Tell you something now. I understand the importance of peaceful protest, but if you want peaceful protest, we need both sides of the party to be fair.
To be peaceful, yeah. It needs to be a fair thing on both sides of the spectrum. And that's why I keep blaming both sides. That's why I keep saying that the whole time. Both sides messed up. And both sides need to apologize to the people. Both of the sides and them. It doesn't take one man to be big. All of us have to be big enough to say, well, yes, there was errors. There was things that we could have done better. Look what we're going to do to fix it. You know? And just accept accountability.
That's a very sad. It's very sad. What's going on here is very sad. Trust me. Let me tell you that. Very sad. It was two persons they shot, right? They shot him for tear gas. They didn't shoot him with live rounds.
No, tear gas canister.
No, man. They shouldn't have done that. And if he had returned fire now, what they would have said?
If he had returned,
but I'm telling you, but this is real life you're talking about there, you know.
If he had returned fire,
don't
say that. Don't say that.
But we have to ask the question.
Don't say that one because if he had returned fire, he would have been probably unalive.
So if you make up his mind now.
Can you sponsor security for media next protest?
I will need some security when you see me. I need some security when you see me there right now. Well, if you're gonna be the security, I can put you up there, Peter. You know, I can put you up there. I can help sponsor you, but our media personnel need security too. I wonder, Peter, People who listening, do you guys feel betrayed by the government and also by the opposition? Do you feel that they have let us down as a people? Just leave that in the comment box if you can, or give a thumbs up, give a like, say something, because that's the question I want to ask. Do you guys feel betrayed by both sides of this equation, of the main opposition party? Yeah, because there's no other real opposition party as of yet making any claims. The young man I interviewed on Saturday, Carlos, they have a party, but they have not been real vocal. He's planning on becoming a little bit more vocal, so hopefully they would be able to give us a valuable option. Because we need of an option. We need something for us to hold on to and say, well, yeah, we have somebody. So we're gonna introduce somebody to the platform, but he should have come in a black shirt. He come in opposed what we wearing tonight. But here you go.
No problem.
Wear your black shirt. We need a black shirt.
I didn't know the color code, man. I didn't know the color code. I'll have to go and get me a black shirt, man.
Nah, man, you're good, man. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing fine, thank you, man.
I like to see your
shield.
presence on Cardo Media.
Yes, man. I think you guys are doing a good job by creating a platform for a person to talk. You know, talking is healthy. Talking is from talking that you get ideas. This guy, Microsoft, what's his name? Bill Gates. They used to go on weekends for them to talk and brainstorm. So it's from this discussion that ideas come about.
Okay.
So good job.
I wouldn't ask you the question how you think the protest went. I don't want to ask you that. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Man, Richie.
Huh? What's that?
Wait, I'm not hearing.
You don't ask him the question. TVA.
Okay, I'm hearing you now, Richie.
I say I don't want to ask you the question of how you think the protest went, or are you in support of the protest? I don't want to put you on the spot like that. You know? I don't
but you guys give us tough response, man. No problem.
Well, you see how I'm dressed? I just came from church. So.
Okay.
Yeah, but that doesn't read you of your opinion.
People.
Well, tonight here I'm speaking from a personal point of view and not necessarily the organization that I represent. But I know there are silent protests and different people protest. I remember one time when I went to St. Andrews High School. I left SDA and I went to St. Andrews High School. And I remember one time that some farmer kept tying his cow just outside our classroom. And I think we spoke about it and nothing was done. And there was a silent protest. And it's from that silent protest that's when we saw something happen. So yes, there are different type of protests. But lately, I have noticed that the protests that we have in Dominica, they are erupting into, this sort of violence, this sort of conflict between the protesters and the policemen. So I think we have to try to curb that kind of thing.
I want to ask you this question. You think our police officers are adequately trained to deal with protests?
I think so. I remember when I was involved in a protest, not initiating, not instigating, but because the road was blocked, I was directly involved. I was affected. And so I stood there trying to see if the situation would have been resolved. And I heard the police officer stated clearly, disperse, go at your home. So when I heard these words, I went beyond the protest. I went and parked my vehicle somewhere, and I started to walk home. So the police warned individuals, and they said, disperse, go at your home. So I walked home because of the protest. It was a blockage of the road. No vehicle was passing. I walked home, and later on, I heard that there was tear gas being, thrown in the air. Had persons heeded the warning of the police, they wouldn't have been significantly affected by the tear gas.
Okay.
I,
All right.
I
If
can
I can, go ahead, Carlos, go ahead.
I can remember one year there was a protest in Mendenhall for the sea crossing that war, and I was on my way to Wesley. Inadvertently, the road is blocked, so I can't go to Wesley no more.
Right.
But when I realized that the protest was something that was pertinent to me because my vehicle kept passing through that salt and kept getting destroyed, I stood up with my people because why? It was affecting me. And I believe when it hits home to you as a Dominican, for whatever they feel that is being right and they feel that it's being infringed on, and it hits home to you as a Dominican, you would stand up and protest. Probably you didn't have that feeling of what they were protesting for made sense to you, so you didn't want to protest in that.
Well, as a matter of fact, the protest that they were, I supported the cause. I understood why they were protesting, but sometimes, going back to the question that Fido asked, if the police are well trained, sometimes you have persons who come to these protests who have no affiliation with the group or organization who initiated the protest. Because while there, I heard persons, who were not affiliated with the organization that initiated the process, speaking a whole lot of violent language. And so I had to remove myself from that group. So sometimes you start something and inadvertently you influence all kind of behaviors that are unwanted. So that's why we have to be able to strike a balance. We have to know what is it that we want, and if this action is causing this reaction all the time, then I think it's time for us to change our methods and try something different. And I believe that things like what you have in here is good. Get more people on board and allow persons to talk, all those persons to express their opinion, and get more ideas so that these ideas can become a reality to deal with our challenges, problems, and our conflict that we experience on a day-to-day basis.
I must ask off the bat, because you spoke well. What are so you say that if these things are not working for us, then we have to try something else. You have anything, an idea in the works that we can do differently to get some things working?
Well, ideas that could come to my mind is things that has to do with being productive. I remember history tells us of Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi led a silent protest of the Indians because the British, who had colonized India at that time, they imposed tax on salt. They could have gone and walked through the streets. They could have done all sorts of things. But Mahatma Gandhi led the people to what I would think a progressive, productive protest. And they walked miles across India to the Indian Ocean and gathered salt in the Indian Ocean. I'm not sure what the process that was used, if they allowed the water to evaporate and for the salt to, crystallize. But that is what they did. And so that was a protest against the tax that was imposed on salt. So I believe some of the protests that can be done are alternative. Let's look for alternative routes. Let's see how we could help ourselves, as opposed to doing things that would stir and encourage bad behavior.
I find your alternative thing make a little bit of sense, you know. No,
Yeah.
in the hindsight, because like I was saying earlier, we have many other issues we can protest and talk about. You know, so if we realize, well, this right here gonna get us this action or this reaction from the police or from the authorities who have the control or who have the power in their hand, let us look for alternative means to make them sit back and think and say, oh well, they protesting, you know, but they don't even making no violence scene. Like one protest I thought that would have been very powerful was that do nothing.
They do nothing.
They do nothing. Because what happened when the government, when the opposition came out with the do nothing, what did the government do? Came back with their own slogan, do something. So it played on their minds and said, okay, well, if they're gonna sit down and say they're not doing nothing, let us do something. And after they did it maybe 3 times, they do something thing, and it was done with.
Something was done.
No, I'm just saying they did it 3 times. They did like they do something Saturday. They did it 3 times, and then what is no longer you no longer hearing anything about it. So the do nothing was 1 day. It took them 3 days 3 times to recover from it.
Right.
You know, so I believe in the initiative of doing something different than,
Yes.
the normal protest of marching in the streets. Let us be counteractive to their aggressiveness instead of being aggressive with them, because they know, like for instance, all these arrests that is going on is where the devil is tempting the people and them to react. The arrest is not just because they're arresting them. They play with your psyche so that you as the people gonna react and say, boy, why they arresting Mr. Fun, they arresting Mr. Let me go and create a riot. And that is where they will trap you again. So that's the mindset of my topic of saying the devil is setting a trap for you. Be aware and don't fall for the trap, because why? All he wants to do is play in your mind, play in your psyche. Yeah,
Right.
man. We're right. Look, we're ready. We're ready now.
Well,
We're ready because
emotional,
they arrest my
man,
leader. They arrest this man here. Nah, don't fall for that trap. There's a trick. There's a big time trick.
But listen, I want to use myself as an example. I'm a vegetarian, so vegetables is important for me. All right. The last time when we went to shop, I was surprised to see the price of, basic stuff. And we decided that we are going to do something about it. And the something that we have decided to do, we bought some seeds and we started to plant. So my son have already planted the seeds. We use the yogurt empty container to do our seedlings, and we're going to plant this stuff in the yard. So that to me is a form of protest. This is a kind of protest that I am proposing, an alternative, a healthier alternative, that would make the respective persons reconsider. Because at the end of the day, when the utilities, when the facilities, when the structure are damaged, is with the taxpayers' money that have to be used to, to repair it. So it's like we shooting ourselves in the foot. It's like we're hurting ourselves twice. Yeah. Tonight, in my prayer meeting, I focus on the dangers of hoarding. And there's an interesting story that occurred in America, I think it was in New York, of the tragic death of these 2 brothers. They call them the Collier brothers. Not Collier like me and Richie. Collyer. So the tragic death of the Collier brothers. And this is something that is popular. As a matter of fact, there's a memorial park of the Collier brothers in America, in New York. And what happened is that because of the events that happened in their life, they started to isolate themselves and they started to hoard things. So much that at one point in time, there was newspapers stuck up to the ceiling in their house when persons tried to enter. And the horrific ending or the tragic ending was that the one who was responsible for hoarding all these things, he was found in a tunnel, crushed under the things that he hoarded. So,
Oh wow.
so hoarding is dangerous, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
harboring, and I juxtapose that to unforgiveness. And when we have all this bitterness in our heart, you know, it is not something that will help us. We could bury ourselves under it. We could be buried under it, you know. Mark Twain said it best, and I use this statement all the time, that anger is like acid. It does more harm to
Than
the
good.
vessel in which it is stored than on the object in which is poured. And so the more you hold on to this negative bitterness attitude, it is affecting you more than the object in which it is poured. So yes, that is like a trap the devil is setting for you.
Yeah.
to hold on to
Bitterness.
this bitterness. That is a trap. So it is we need to get alternative, healthy, positive ways of getting rid of these unwanted things in our lives.
All right.
Yeah.
Fido. Fido, what are you saying?
Well, nothing but what he's saying is basically make a lot of sense. I am just trying to brainstorm and figure out what can we really do, you know, to alternatively do things that will make a difference and make a change, because we do need something to make a change. We do need a change here in Dominica.
Yeah. Well, if we look around, there are needs everywhere, man. There are needs everywhere. I mean, I remember one time I'm speaking in our church. I know this elder who was very, very diligent in the church. And when COVID-19 came, I saw his diligence step up to another level. And this person did not have electricity because of where they live. They live in a remote place. And so we decided, no, this is a need. Let's see how we could help in this situation. And together we came and we were able to put up a concert and raise some money to be able to buy a proper solar system for this person, you know. So people all around the world, all around Dominica, they supported the cause and they were able to raise the funds to install a proper solar system for him, you know. So there are needs everywhere, so we can think of how we could channel
Identify certain needs.
huh?
Okay. Identify a need and try to help remedy that need.
Yeah, like what you doing, cardio. You have your foundation, and occasionally you make donation to, you know, children who are less fortunate. So I mean, we have a lot of talent. Dominica is blessed beyond the natural fauna and the rich vegetation and the water. We have a lot of talented people in Dominica, where we have a rich human resource. We can tap into this human resource and let's see what can we do. You know, how can we build a house for somebody? How can we clean somebody's yard? You know, right now CXC is requiring from its students that they have a mandatory hours for community services.
service.
So we can create avenues for our young people. You know, let's give them healthier options of dealing with the stress, of utilizing their energies in a positive way of developing the country.
Currently my group is in talks with people with some of the schools to where we can helping the students in getting some hours.
Right,
So
right,
they'll do volunteer service with the group.
right.
And they will be credited a couple hours for that community service that because we do outreach programs.
Mm-hmm.
We also planning to do a food drive
All
where
right.
we'll be going around and giving out food to different people in in different communities. So those are the things that I think we can focus on and help eliminate some of the struggling and some of the poverty. I am not saying always give a handout, but sometimes there are people who really need that hand. And so Cardo's Media, Focus with Fido, and my other foundations, we have decided to start doing stuff like that to help our community, help our country, help our people. And if somebody feel like getting on board with this program, reach out. Reach out and say, well, yeah, I can donate at $10, I can donate at this, I can donate at that, because why? One hand to help the other. I don't really
Yeah.
asking people nobody have to give me nothing. I'm gonna do it regardless, because why? I like to give back to my community. I love the idea of helping. But if you feel the need or you feel inspired to do so, I would appreciate the inspiration, So yeah.
Yeah, believe it or not, when persons are depressed, distressed, and oppressed, they could revert to desperate things, and sometimes desperate things could be unhealthy. It could even
Healthy
be
things, yeah.
to their detriment. It could lead to ruin their lives. And so we have to think of ways how to create a culture that, irrespective of your situation, you could still use your energy, use what you have, use your skills, your talents and abilities. Use what you have and do something. Anyway, I said I have 15 minutes here, so
Yeah,
I don't know if you all have any more questions for me. I see Fido smiling.
what I want to say, I want you to do a program with us, man. Come up here and do a Thursday night meditation with the people,
All right.
Thursday night meditation, so the people can, get that connection with the spiritual side of things, We don't want to
Okay.
always just keep doing the same regular thing. We want to be able to connect with our people on both mental, spiritual, physical.
Right.
Cardo's Media is not just a platform for politics. It's a platform to enhance and enrich the lives of our fellow Dominicans and the people who pay attention to Cardo's Media. We are here to edify the soul, give food to the soul, be it on a spiritual level, be it on a physical level, be it on a mental level. We want to reach all facets of life. And if that's something that you're willing to do, I mean, I'm not saying you have to do it every night or every Thursday night, but make it a point of view. You try to do something with us, man, because it would be a great effort. I mean, we can also check other people too, but it would be a great effort if you're a brother in the system already, and we would love it.
Okay, definitely. I will I'm gonna organize my calendar to see if I come on once a month.
Okay, that's even better.
Something. All right.
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
So tell me the days, and we'll make the prediction, the promotion, and you'll just come through and do your thing.
No problem.
You must
Definitely.
give the people an hour of spiritual feed, Spiritual food. Don't laugh. I'm being serious. You're laughing.
Definitely. In these times we need that, huh? We need
Yes,
that,
man.
man.
Yes, man.
Yeah. It's not all
And
about the physical. It's not all about the intellectual. It is not all about dependent upon self. It's not about me. The Rastafari will say is Jah Rastafari, So so it's about Jah, it's about God, it's about dependent upon God. And the more we could be dependent upon God, then is the more we are able to see advances in our life. Is the more we'll be able to see our dreams become a reality. Is the more we'll be able to make more progress in life. So yes, it is very important that we have that connection. So I will organize my calendar and I will give you one, once a month. I'll let you know the topic. Fido can design the flyer and we can organize. All right?
Before you leave us, give us a pray for our nation before you leave, Pray for our nation.
Definitely.
Pray.
Father God, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this platform, Kado's Media, whereby we can have open discussion about subject matters that we are concerned about, especially things that relates to Dominica, the way things are going, the development of Dominica. Even as we discuss in the topic tonight about the devil setting a trap, many times we fall prey to the snare of the enemy because we fail to dwell in the secret place of the Most High. We fail to trust in God. We want to trust into our own instincts, our own ideas. But tonight we understand that there is a shield against the traps of the enemy. There is an antidote to this virus of sin, and that is being dependent upon God. I pray in the name of Jesus for all our leaders, the Prime Minister, the priests, the pastors, all the cabinet ministers, opposition leaders, all the power reps, in the name of Jesus. May they recognize that this power that have been given to them was given to them by you. And so they must give an account for how they exercise this power. We pray for young people who are looking up to these leaders. May the Lord that they in as much as they will be taken from these leaders, that they'll have a mind of their own and they'll begin to think as to what kind of Dominica they want in the future, and they'll begin to make the necessary changes, put the necessary actions in place so they can inherit a good Dominica. Bless us all as we continue this night. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Good night.
Yeah,
God
man.
bless you all. And God bless Kado's Media.
Yeah, man. Thank you very much for coming through, Pastor, and for being the voice of reasoning, for also putting a different perspective on things and for making us think that there are other ways in which we can do things and make things be accomplished in a peaceful and tranquil manner. I appreciate your candor.
Welcome.
Yes, sir. Fido!
Let's go to Carlo.
After we get the prayer, I don't think we should go further. I think we should take our prayer.
Just that, boy. I had something just an idea that busted my brains, and I don't know if I should bust that.
Go ahead.
No, I can bust it. After my exam first.
Burst
It's too hot. No, it's too hot to just bust wild shots. Yeah.
No, I like wild shots. And I have to bang, 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 bang.
I don't prepare for that one there.
It's too hot to let go
It's
now.
too hot. It's too hot to bust. We could have sent it right there, people.
Yeah, man. We'd like to thank you guys for tuning in. I'd like to thank the pastor for coming through and giving us a different perspective on things. A good prayer, a good answer. We have to tune into God sometimes. We just get hot and wild sometimes. Pressure does be up there, and we have to sit back and think and make it make sense. So I'd like to thank you guys for tuning in, Fido. I don't know if you got to tell the people what you feel like, how you feel like it.
Basically, we appreciate the support each and every time we go live. We want to thank them for being part of tonight's discussion. And as the topic for tonight is, the devil is setting traps. So we do want to urge you all to be very vigilant and do not let your emotions cause you to fall into the traps that are being set up right now. Again, this is Fido on Kado's Media. Later.
Well, this is Kado's Media. And yeah, don't blame the messenger. Yeah.